We have the power washer here at the storage facility that we bought recently. Everything is getting power washed because we're about to start painting. So you can see power washer did a number on this paint, which is great. Well, that's why we wanted to knock off all the, the stuff that was peeling, and then we're gonna throw on some new paint. It's gonna look so much better. So we're going with a light gray on the walls, and then we're gonna be going with a blue on the doors. So you can see they've started power washing. They've power washed this area right here, and then they can get that from the ground. But it's a big old building, two-story. You don't see that very often. Well, they've got two of the buildings completed now. Looks so much better than it did. Last time I was here, I showed you guys the nasty peeling brown paint, which we still have buildings in the back, two buildings in the back that are yet to be done. Got to save up some money for those. But these other two buildings look really good. I'm super happy with how they came out. I'm not out in the front right now. It's kind of loud out there, but I'll walk out and show you guys. So curious if you guys can guess, so you can guess the closest on how much this cost. So we painted the front building right there, this side building, and then actually it comes around the other side here. I'm not going to go all the way down there right now, but then painted all that as well. So yeah, I'm super happy with how it came out. Honestly, the painter did a really good job. Got the doors looking really good. He put multiple coats on. He primed it all the right way. First, power washed, cleaned everything. Looks like we've got some gutters that are holding some water up there. But yeah, man, just night and day difference on how this thing looks now. Another thing that we did was replace the flashing around, I should say the weather stripping around the doors on this front building. So all of this is just like regular garage door, door stop is what it's called. We got that all replaced, looks a lot better. Will hold out the rainwater. If we walk over and look at some of the older ones, you'll see it was kind of buckling. It was cracking, coming off in other areas. But yeah, all around, that doesn't look great. That looks a lot better. All right, I want to jump into my computer and show you guys some of the before and after photos of this place. So if you guys didn't see it before, this is what it looked like. This is that front building, brown and ugly. And these are some shots of after we power washed it, and you can see, a bunch of the paint is coming off here. So this is a shot of that lower building. And at first I thought this was some sort of like mildew over here or, mold growing on the building, but I think they actually were taking off a coat of paint. So I'm sure this place had multiple coats of paint over the years. And I'm glad that we ended up power washing it with a really good power washer. So that's what it looked like right there. This is the before, and then got a couple during photos. So during the process, so they painted the doors with a primer and the gutters and the downspout here, and then a couple more shots of that. And then here is when they put the coat of paint on the walls, and this was a special coat of paint that is actually waterproof. It's called Luxon by Sherwin-Williams. Very expensive paint, but hopefully will last a very long time. So just some more during the process, and then here is the after. So looks so much better. Night and day different, so much more clean and fresh. And if I was a tenant, I sure would prefer rent from a place like this rather than what it used to look like back here. So much better. So all around, I haven't talked a whole lot about this facility, but it has been a project. We bought this thing severely vacant. I want to say that we had 12. So there's 71 units total. The owner, I'll talk a little bit more about this in a second, but more or less didn't give us a whole lot of information. When we closed on the thing, we more or less got the list of tenants, and there was 12. And you're going to ask yourself, shouldn't you had this information before you closed? Yes. I guess, the reason why is this facility is like in my hometown, about 3 minutes from where I live, and I knew that it was severely mismanaged. Now, not because the owner is incompetent, but it was because he had other bigger things he was working on. And so I knew he was more or less running this thing to the ground, which is why we got a decent price on the thing. So I knew going into it that we were pretty much starting from scratch. I had asked him multiple times during our due diligence period for the rent roll, and he was not providing it to us as quickly as I'd like. And so I just went into this thing like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and close on it anyways. It's really close to where I live. It fits well in the portfolio that I already own, and it's just going to make sense long term. So we closed on it, and sure enough, of the 71 units, 12 of them were occupied, and come to find out, like half of them are even paying. And so it has been a journey figuring out who is there, who's not there. Actually, we've owned it now for a couple months, I think, almost a couple months. And just had a call last night of like, hey, this place must have changed ownership. I've got this unit here. You guys have your red lock on it, and can't get in it. So I had to provide her the code and get her information. But sometimes it's not perfect. Perfect world is we buy a facility, we get a rent roll with all the contact information for all the tenants, we get leases. And then other times you are buying something that's going to take a little more work and upfront investment, but in the long run, it does pay off. So that's kind of the story with where we're at right now. I don't have the numbers up before me, and I'll talk about this another time, but I think that we're probably sitting at like 60% occupied now, and we were, down there in the 20s or something, probably lower. And so, we are renting units. There was definitely a bunch of units that were rented when college kids started moving out of their apartments here in the summer, or their college dorms. So we've had some good rentals, and we're working on some marketing efforts right now to continue that. So yeah, that is the story with the newest facility. I will keep you guys updated as we move on and progress forward. Hopefully we will be able to paint the rest of the building soon, and I'll keep you guys posted on that. So as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.